Jai Jai Sri Radhe, Jai Jai Sri Radhe. So this is Karttika class. Sri Radha and Her Manjaris based on Vilapa Kusumanjali, Radha and Das Goswami, commentaries by Raghunatha Das Babaji Maharaj and Prabhupada and Gopal Goswami. This is verse 6. And here Raghunatha Das Goswami is glorifying Sanatana Goswami. Vairagya bhakti rasam prayatner apayan mama anabi vipsam andam kribam buddhirya paraduka duki sanatanam tam prabhamashrami. He says, I take shelter of Sanatana Goswami, who is an ocean of compassion, and always felt sorry for the suffering of others. Although I was unwilling and blinded by ignorance, Sanatana Goswami made me drink the nectar of devotion mixed with renunciation, Vairagya and Bhakti Ras. So in this verse, Das Goswami praises his Shiksha Guru, Sanatana Goswami. Jiva Goswami Pad, in his commentary on the Bhagavatam Laghu Toshni, he explains that Raghunath is a friend of Rupa and Sanatan. It's a verse where Sanatana Goswami glorifies the friendship that Raghunath had with Rupa and Sanatan. Raghunatha Das is world famous for being a friend of Sri Rupa and Sanatan. Raghunatha Das always swims in the great ocean of love for Radha and Krishna. The greatest saints say that no one in the world can be compared with Rupa and Sanatan, but also Raghunatha Das Goswami has attained a position equal to theirs. Although Raghunatha Das was a jewel mine of humility, he can always consider Rupa and Sanatan to be his superiors. He always prays to their lotus feet as follows, Manashiksha. O mind, if you desire to live in Braj, birth after birth, to serve youthful Radha and Krishna, then always be lovingly remember and offer obeisances to Sri Damodar Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami. In the first verse of a prayer from Stavavali, named Niyam Dashikam, Raghunatha Das explains his vows. May I always intensely love my Guru. Guru Mantre Namne Prabhuvara. May I intensely love my Guru, the holy name of Krishna, the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, Sri Damodar Goswami, and his older brother Sanatan. May I always love Govardhan Hill, and may I always love Radhakund, Mathura, Vrindavan, and all of Braj, and all the devotees and Brijvasis. So that's his prayer. And Suniyam Dashika. These are his rules he lives by, his niyam. So he mentions here Sanatana Goswami. He says Sanatana Goswami felt suffering when others were unhappy. He's no true mercy. He saved my life. When Lord Chaitanya left this world, Raghunatha Das shaved his head. Before that, he had long hair and a beard in Puri, like most Gaudiya Vaishnavas. He shaved his head. He went to Braj to commit suicide. Just said he went to commit suicide. But when he got to Govardhan, he saw the two Goswamis, Rupa and Sanatan, who preached to him to save us, to keep living, to help others, by sharing all the teachings he got in Puri, by being with Lord Chaitanya personally for 16 years. That's not a small daily association with Lord Chaitanya for 16 years. So he had a lot of things to say. So what he said, what Raghunatha Das Goswami said became a book, Chaitanya Charitamrita, because Krishnadas Kaviraj sat next to him and wrote down everything he said. Most of the book of Chaitanya Charitamrita is dictation by Raghunatha Das Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami says, "Oh Raghunath, the mercy of Guru and Gauranga is everything to us. I also want to commit suicide once in Puri by throwing myself under the Rathayatra cart of Jagannath. But Lord Chaitanya prohibited me and told me that he said to me at that time when I wanted to commit suicide, he said, Sanatan, if you can change Krishna by committing suicide, I would commit suicide millions of times. But you can't get Krishna just by committing suicide. That's too easy. Krishna's not so easily got. What is your body? You give up your body 1 second, that's nothing. But you dedicate 60, 70 years of your life serving Krishna, that's some serious offering. You give up your body, that's a one-time shot, 5 minutes, you're dead. But every day you're living for the service of Radha and Krishna, that will win the attention and mercy of Krishna. And that's what Chaitanya told Sanatana. So Sanatana stayed around. It's a good idea. Came to Braj and blessed all of us. So this verse, in this verse number 6, Das Goswami mentions about Vairagya and Bhakti Rasam. The Sanatana Goswami made him drink the nectar of renunciation. Bhakti Rasa, renunciation is a nectar. You may not think so. But to be detached and to perform tapasya, austerity in the cause of devotional service is amritam, is nectar. So, Anantadas Babaji Maharaj explains what is Vairagya. Because Vairagya has a different meaning in yoga circles and Gyanis and yogis and other people. But in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, it has a different idea. And he says that Vairagya should not be confused. Gaudiya Vaishnava Vairagya, or detachment or renunciation, should not be confused with dry, stern, and artificial renunciation. But it's practical, realistic detachment. The Goswami's Vairagya, what does Vairagya mean? It means virag. Rag means attachment. And rag also, the word rag, R-A-G-A, means color. So it means your mind is colored with passion. Red is the color of passion. So when your mind is colored with material desire, you're called a ragi. You're a ragi. If you're sick, you're called a rogi. If you're an enjoyer, you're called a bogey. Most people are ragis, going between bogeys and rogis. Ragi means your mind is colored. Rag means attachment. Color is colored like crayons, paint colored with that. But this Vairagya, so it means Vairagya means Viragya, without rag. So Viragya, for Vairagya in Gaudiya Sampradaya means Viraha. In Hindi, Viraha home. I live in Radhakund, may Viraha home. I live in Radhakund. Raha means live, and Viraha means not living. So we say when Radharani is separated from Krishna, she's feeling Viraha. The word literally means she's dead. Viraha, Ra means life, living, and V means without life, without living. So we translate Viraha as separation. Krishna Viraha. It's also called Viyog. Viyog means also separation. Viyog means no union, no meeting. So that's the meaning of Vairagya. Vairagya in Gaudiya Sampradaya means feel intense separation from Radha and Krishna. So if you feel intense separation from Radha and Krishna, you lose all your rag, all your attachment and color and interest in this material world. So automatically your Radha Krishna Viraha creates Vairagya, detachment, renunciation from all non-Krishna things of this world. People, places, activities, aspirations, ambitions, plans, desires. I want to go here, I want to go there. Before I die, I want to see this and that. People have all these crazy things in their mind because they're crazy. Oh, I got to go there, that's the spot to see, I have to go there. The only place to see is Radhakund, Shamakund, Giri Govardhan. We had to go there, we should be hankering. When I roll and dust of Shamkuti and bathe in Kusan Sarovar and walk a little further down the road, get overheated and bathe and go into Kund. Again, roll in the dust some more. Just roll in the dust. That's why there's 40 Kunds around Govardhan, 40 different Kunds. So you go on a hot day, roll in the dust and go a little further, take a bath, wash it off, roll in the dust again, walk a little further, take a bath. I had one godbrother, he was making a lot of offenses to the devotees because that was his swabhav. That was his natural characteristic, was to be offensive. He was an old devotee, I gotta be old if you're a prophet disciple. And so he once showed up in a gumption and he was all wet. I said, what are you doing? He said, I just took bath in Radhakund. I'm bathing in every single kund and Pokor and lake and everywhere around Govardhan Hill. So I just wore a gumshoe. I said, that's cool, no shirt or anything. She came out from Vrindavan on the bus in a gumshoe, which isn't a very proper way to behave, but anyway. At least he's trying to get free from his offenses, that's a good thing. So I said, why? He said, I heard that if you bathe in all the kunds and roll in all the dust of Govardhan, you get free from your offenses and all your sins. So I'm taking it seriously. I said, that's good, you need to roll a lot. You need to roll a lot of dust and bathe. I think you should go 3 times around Govardhan. Once is the wash cycle, once the rinse cycle, once the dry cycle. Get yourself thoroughly cleansed. He was a real offender while walking Aparad Sarup. It's great. He got sincere, he got inspired. So this is Vairagya and Gaudiya Sampradaya. Feels separation from Radha and Krishna. Hey Radhe, Rajadevi Kechalavite, Nanda Sumakuta, Shri Govardhana Kalpaparvate Kalindi Vanyekuta, Gosantavati Sarvato Vrajapure, Kedar Mahavila, Vande Rupa Sanatana Rugosi Jiva Gopalaka. There, Vairagya, the 6 Goswamis, means Viraha, means feelings of separation from Radha and Krishna. It's automatic, natural. It's not some deliberate renunciation. Out of separation from Radha and Krishna, they automatically lost all interest in material pleasures. So this is the keynote. You want to get free, you want to get detached from the material world, you have to feel separation from Radha and Krishna. This is the teaching of 6 Goswamis. They didn't artificially stay up all night chanting or reduce their eating to minimal, because they're just so much absorbed in hankering to be with Radha and Krishna and missing them that they forgot to eat, forgot to sleep, and lost all interest in it. So there's no 2 6 Goswamis in the world, and there never will be. So don't even think that you can be a Goswami. But they set the example. We should try to don't worry about being austere, but take the teachings they're teaching, develop separation. Because as I said, Vairagya, acha. Vakanda Gopal, Radhe Sham, Nandini, Radhe. Swagatam, Krishna. The whole country's here. The Raj and the Rajani, the king and queen of Iran, have come. The queen's already sitting down. Okay, good. So this nice point that Nata Swaji made, because the verse describes Vairagya Bhakti Rasam. And so he said, what is Vairagya? Gaudiya Sampradaya. Vairagya means Viraha. Viraha, separation from Radha and Krishna. Very, very nice. So this is the teaching of Goswamis. Goswamis aren't teaching us to eat one chickpea a day or to sleep 1 hour a day. That's not their teaching. They're teaching us to cry for Radha and Krishna and visit the Leela Stalis of Radha and Krishna and roll in the dust of those Leela Stalis and cry and cry and cry. You roll in the dust and get all covered with dust and you cry and your own tears wash off all the dust. So this is a beautiful meaning. Vairagya means Viraha. Vairagya means virag. Rag means color, colored with attachment for material enjoyment. So you get free from that color only by feeling viraha, not feeling you're not raha, you're not living with Radha and Krishna. Viraha, very clever arrangement and also true philosophy. No separation from Radha and Krishna, no detachment from this material world. There's no other way to get detached from this material world than feeling separation from Radha and Krishna. And this is one of the teachings of the 6 Goswamis. So he says, remembering the love and compassion of Sanatana Goswami, Raghunatha Das Goswami prays in the 6th verse of Vilapa Kusumanjali, I take shelter of my Shiksha Guru, Sanatana Goswami, who is an ocean of compassion and always felt sorry for the suffering of others. Although I was unwilling and blinded by ignorance, he made me drink the nectar of devotion mixed with renunciation. That's quite a nectar drink. We used to have buttermilk and orange juice and a lot of sugar at Sunday feast. It's called a nectar drink. Orange juice and buttermilk, what a combination. And a lot of sugar. It tastes pretty good. So this is a special drink. Bhakti Rasa and Vairagya. It suggests, I don't know how many parts of which one, probably less Vairagya, a lot more Bhakti, mix a lot of Bhakti Rasa and a few drops of Vairagya. Not too much Vairagya is dangerous. Vairagya yu Bhakti Rasam Prayatner Apayayan Mama Anavi Visam Andam Kribambudirya Paraduka Duki Sanatanam Tam Prabhamashrayami. I take shelter of my Lord, Sanatana Goswami, oh Lord, my Prabhu. I take shelter of my Prabhu, Sanatana Goswami, who is an ocean of compassion and always felt sorry for the suffering of others. Although I was unwilling and blinded by ignorance, he made me drink the nectar of devotion, Bhakti Ras, mixed with renunciation. Beautiful prayer glorifying his teacher, Sanatana Goswami. This is verse 7. That Yud Katena Nitaram Viraha Nalena Danda Yamana Ridya Kila Kapi Dasi. Haswamani Shanamya Pranayena Gadam Akrandanena Vidara Vilapayami Padye. O Swamini, Radharani, the heart of this Manjari constantly burns in the great fire of separation from you. Viraha Analena. Being thus afflicted and crying with great love, I lament in the following verses. So this is an introduction to the book itself. In verse 7, he's already glorified his teachers and Lord Chaitanya, his guru, Vaitacharya's Manjari form, and other personalities that made him what he is. Now he's approaching the subject of the book. The Mangalacharna usually describes the subject of the book. The subject is Radharani and lamenting Vilapa Pada. Vilapami Pade. Pade means Pada. It's Vilapa Pada. It's a book full of poetry, full of lamentation. So, let's read what it says in the Tika. Talks eager feeling eagerness and separation from Radha. Eagerness. How wonderfully deep is Raghunatha Das's absorption in his service to Radha. He has no other support than Radha's feet. That's why his heart burns so much out of separation from Radha. The severe fire of separation. He declares himself to be helpless and cannot live anymore without submitting this to her. So these are necessary qualifications to advance in Bhakti Bhajan. Feel helpless. It's one of the symptoms of Sharanagati. To feel incapable, or unqualified to do anything on your own. If any pride is in the heart of a devotee, I can chant, I can recite shlokas, I can give a class, I can play mridanga, harmonium, I can do so many things, then you can't really surrender properly. But to feel helpless, not hopeless, but helpless. Hope is a quality of bhakti. Ashabandha, be bound by hope. Hope for mercy, hope for progress, hope for success, hope for getting darshan around Krishna. But feeling hope, full of hope, and full of being completely helpless. Helpless is a very good thing. This is the opposite of material world. The material world, all the modern psychology and business ethics, the motivational speakers, they always say, you're great, you can do anything, you're perfect, just set your mind to it. All this power in your mind and all this BS and other stuff. Then no one preaches being helpless, being surrendered to God, be helpless, be dependent on God. No, independence. I'm smart, I'm educated, I'm highly qualified. I have so much experience. Watch out. Get out of my way, Jack. I'm coming through. But being helpless, like Draupadi is a Kshatrani. She's a Kshatriya's wife. Draupadi, Pandava Patni. She's holding on to her sari. I'm not going. This guy's not going to take my sari. I'll hold my sari on. And finally, she threw up her hands. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. She became helpless. In helpless condition, she fully surrendered. Two-hand surrender. Like one time, somebody was driving Prabhupada in the car. One devoted disciple. He was chanting japa. Sound familiar? And right hand. It's an age-old tradition. He had his bead bag, his right hand tied real tight, in case you might get an accident, so you can, not travel your beads and whatever, keep the steering wheel. So he was driving, and the Prophet said, "How fast are you going?" 100 miles an hour. I said, "Look, I don't want one-hand service. I want two-hand service." Take over your view. I want two-hand service. You go 100 miles an hour, which is 160 kilometers or whatever. It's fast. I mean, it's 40 years ago. Now everything's faster now. So two-hand service. So Draupadi with two hands, 100% helpless. One hand is 50% helpless. I'm good for half. I'm covering half. Krishna, give me half help. No, I'm helpless. I can't do anything. So this is the right mood, being helpless. Das Goswami only misses Radharani. There's nothing else, and no one else he misses. He is simply immense. Oh, Premamai, you are full of divine love. Where are you? I am your maidservant. You are all that I long for. I only like Shama Sundar because he's your lover. This is such a beautiful Tattva Manjaris. Well, you guys worship Radha Krishna? Yeah, we worship Radha and some Krishna, little something. Why you don't speak much about Krishna? Well, it's not so important, But he's God, he's a creator and maintainer and everything. Yeah, he does that. Well, I'm not interested in that. We're only worshiping Krishna because Radha likes him. If she likes somebody else, we worship him too. Wouldn't pay any attention to Krishna. But Radha, she has some interest in this guy Krishna, so we show some favor towards Krishna. Nobody can understand this angle of Govi Bhav, of Manjari Bhav. It's something extraordinary. I only like Shama Sundar because he's Radharani's lover. I fully surrender myself unto you, Radharani. Listen once to my lamentation, and please take notice of me. The more time, the closer Raghunatha Das came to dying or leaving this world, the more absorbed he became in his Manjari Swarup, the more eager he became to see and serve Radha as a Premavati Sevika, a great loving maidservant. I had one friend of mine who was a Mahanta of Radha Sundar Mandir in Manasi Ganga. On the north side, there's an old temple of Radha Sundar, beautiful deities, black stone and Ashadati Radharani. He was in charge Mahanta. He was a Bengali Brahmin. He was in ISKCON for a while, top of Maya. He got the name Tamal Krishna Das Babaji. He was a big guru and acharya. He was dying, and he called me up. He said, "I want to share some things with you. I can't share these with my disciple, but you're my old friend, so please come. You don't know what's going on over here, but I'm about to leave my body." So I went to Masi Ganga, and he was lying in his bed. On one side of his pillow, he had a picture of his guru. The other side, a picture of the deities he was taking care of, Radha Sundar. He couldn't move, he was just lying in the bed. And the guru there, and two pictures on either side. Guru and Ishtadev Radha Sundar. So he said, I've been doing bhajan and Manjari Swarup for like 45 years, meditating on Manjari Swarup, meditating my service. But I was always wondering, am I actually going to go there? Am I actually going to go to Nityalila and serve Radha or Manjari and do this Nitya Seva my Guru gave me? Is it possible? I don't know. It had some doubts because he hadn't had any Swurti or any Darshan Radharani. But he said, he was crying, he was really anxious. But I said, now I'm sure I'm going. I'm sure I'm going to have my service there. He said, what do you mean? He said, the other night I was lying in bed around 1 o'clock or whatever, and Radharani appeared to me, just like a tear in my room. She said, you're coming to me, you're going to do your service, I'm waiting for you. Just relax, don't fear death at all. You're going to come and do your service with your Guru Sakhi right by me, don't be afraid. So he said, it's confirmed, he said this word. He said, it's confirmed now. I'm 100% sure I'm going to Radharani to do my Nitya Seva as a Manjari, as a dasi of Radharani. So he was really in bliss at the last days of his life. So he got success in bhajan. Of course, he had a high birth, Bengali Brahmin, Gaudiya Vaishnava family. But that's whoever you are, you get the mercy of Guru and Krishna, you attain perfection in one life. So I was just sharing that with you. This reminding me of Das Goswami just wanted Radharani and wanted to be absorbed in his Manjari Swarup. So the next point that Natas Babaji makes in his commentary, how agony means pain, pain in the heart, pain in the mind, how agony can be the goal of life. Usually people say the goal of life is to be happy. We're saying the goal of life is to cry and be in pain. Pain in the heart, not physical pain. That may also come with destiny. But so someone can ask the question, how this appears like agony is the goal of life. That's what some professor once, he read Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says, I can't understand you guys go to Vaishnavas. The one you're worshipping, the perfect exemplar of bhakti is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has such an agonizing life. He's your exemplar of perfection in spirituality. What is his life? He's just staying up all night in a brick room with no plaster on the wall, just rough bricks. It looks like volcanic ash. There's these rough natural bricks that you can find in Jagadpuri area. They all have little pot marks in them. They're real strong. There's some kind of earth, looks like moon craters or something. It's real rough. The rocks are real rough. He was grinding his face, going back and forth, grinding. He's cutting his jaw and bleeding. And it's described in the books of Lord Chaitanya's biography. And he says it's horrible, it's cruel. And you say your goal of your life is to be like that, have that Viraha, that separation from Radha and Krishna. Well, you guys are crazy. He couldn't relate to it at all. What was depicted by Lord Chaitanya, such an agonizing, painful life. And this is supposed to be the topmost level of spiritual perfection. So again, the question is asked, how is agony the goal of life? So it's natural someone has no experience of prema will ask such a question. Although the feelings of separation from Krishna may appear externally to be miserable, they're actually a special culmination of transcendental ecstasy. Prema has two forms, meeting and separation. Madan and Viraha. Consequently, a loving devotee always swims in the ocean of very painful love and also the ocean of most blissful meeting, love and meeting. These feelings can never be compared to the ordinary feelings of joy and sorrow of the material world. Only advanced devotees understand what this means. Because otherwise, from our conditional perspective, we examine this phenomenon of spiritual love and separation, and we can't understand what it is, can't relate to it. So it seems not very attractive. And he quotes Radha Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Although the heart of a loving devotee in the beginning burns in the fire of apparent misery and lamentation because of separation, it is a fact that the joy is even greater than the transcendental bliss of meeting Krishna. This is a point that we see in our scriptures, which is very hard to imagine. The joy, the happiness of separation from the beloved is greater than meeting. Again, that's the transcendental reality, phenomenal reality. That's a statement of the Acharya son Goswami. So he gives some analogy about ice and whatnot. So this is describing the blissful pain of the Brijvasis. In Braj, and when we look at the Brijvasis, we always see so many feelings of love and separation from Krishna. Separation makes their love elevated and great. The Brijvasis can relish the advanced stage of love, but not all devotees can reach that elevated level of blissful pain and separation of the Brijvasis. That's actually a feature of love in Vrindavan. If you look at any loving relationship, one love is mother's love for son, Yashoda's love for Krishna, and Balaram's love for Krishna, and Sri Ram and Subal's love for Krishna, and Raktak and Padraka's servants, and Dasarati, how they love Krishna, and of course the Gopis, Sakhis, Radha's love, and Madhurya Rati. But every one in their own way they're feeling separation from Krishna. Even the forest animals and the trees and the bees and the birds and the deer, they feel separation from Krishna. When Krishna leaves the forest in the afternoon and Aparan Leela to return for Uttaragosta Leela, come back to Nandagram with the cows, all the forest creatures start crying. The deer get tears in their eyes. Even the alligators and crocodiles in Yamuna. There were crocodiles there. Even 40 years ago, there were crocodiles in Yamuna. I was going to go down bathing one day in Yamuna, in the northern part near ISKCON, where the Gurukul people would bathe. It's very close to the temple. And the teachers would take the Gurukul boys there to bathe. They said, don't go there, there's a crocodile there. He's swimming around Yamuna because it got flood season. And he swam over with the flooded Yamuna, he came over from Rajasthan. So the crocodile waiting to eat Russian ladies. But there weren't any around that time, they didn't join yet. It's too soon. Maybe he's still there, you can go find out. So you have to be careful. They say, look before you swim. So this is a situation that is describing this separation and blissful pain and the bourgeoisie. So all the people feel separation. Like the forest creatures when Krishna leaves, they're all crying and they're really unhappy. All the trees are blossoming with flowers when Krishna's there. All the flowers closed. The sun hasn't gone down, the sun is still bright, pretty bright in the sky in the summer when Krishna leaves the forest. But all the flowers close, all the bees stop buzzing, all the deer stop prancing around. They just start moping around. Like somebody's unhappy, they walk down the street shuffling their feet. They're happy, they're skipping down the street. Oh, I'm in love, da da da. Running down the street, jumping and skipping, happy and love. But the deer are shuffling along. It says the deer are shuffling along, dragging their tails along the ground. Usually their tails are sticking up in the air. Their tails, the peacock's tails, it says the male peacocks, it's another renowned Chambu. When Krishna comes back, they just leave their tails dragging on the ground, sweeping all the ground, sweeping the ground as they walk. Feeling separation from Krishna. Let's put the thing. Govinda Lila Amrita describes the Purvan Lila from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the morning, or no, Purvan Lila. It's, I forget. But the Lila when Krishna leaves for Gocharan Lila, and all the Brajvasis accompany him, and then when he gets out of sight, Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, they follow him, and Krishna stops and says, go home. And then they embrace him, and he says, okay, we'll go home. Then he walks and they follow him again. Then he starts and embrace him. Krishna says goodbye to his mother and father 10 times, or 6 times before they let him go. He said, look, the cows can't go out to the forest and eat unless I come behind them. And you're not letting me go, so the cows are suffering. Okay, don't let the cows suffer. So Nanda and Yashoda turned back. As soon as Krishna left out of sight, Yashoda fainted on the ground. And Rohini and Nanda Maharaj, they picked up her body and dragged her back to the palace. So this is separation. So how much pain is there with this bliss and agony and bliss and separation? So when Krishna left to go to Mathura, Radharani entered a state of divine madness, Divyan Mad. The pinnacle of loving ecstasy was later relished by Mahaprabhu in Gambhira. So this next section, well, you put your finger up like that when it's 4 o'clock, So in Puri, how did Raghunath Das experience, not rather in Puri, but Raghunath Das, how did he experience pain of separation from Radha? He was crying and sighing on the banks of Radhakund. Oh Swami, I can't tolerate the pain of separation from you anymore. Nanda Pandit, another book, he says that advanced sadhakas living on the banks of Radhakund, they can still hear the crying of Raghunatha Das Goswami. That's because, see, Shabda Brahman, spiritual sound. They're on the banks of Radhakund, and late at night you can still hear Raghunatha Das crying and say, Ha Radhe, Ha Radhe, Ha Radhe. It's possible, anything's possible. I can't tolerate the pain of separation from you anymore. The language of the heart can only be spoken in solitude. This is the pinnacle of grief. how sweetly Raghunatha Das Goswami addresses Radharani here, calls her Swamini. There's intoxication in this address. There's not even a whiff of bodily awareness in Raghunatha's mind. Now he is Tulsi Manjari. So this next section is how to get the mercy from Radharani. Sadhakas should fix themselves in their siddha swarup. It's called Srupa Vesh. For no one can get a response from Swamini unless they're totally free from Maya. As soon as the mind wanders away elsewhere, away from Radharani, Radharani runs away and says, first you become mine. When you fully surrender unto me and stick to me like a shadow, then you will get my response from me. That's pretty good. They generally say that manjaris are like shadows of Radharani. So we have to become a shadow. We have to become a chaya. Yeah, I have to say Radharani's mind. We recite the prayer, Vilapa Kusumanjali, verse 96, Tavevasmi, Najivami Tvavina, Idi Vigaya Devi Tvam Nayamam Sarnatikam. We say in imitation, but this prayer is originally and correctly spoken by Das Goswami at the end of his life. He's saying, Radharani, I am yours, I am yours, I am yours, I cannot live without you. Once I mentioned to my Baba Guru that I like this prayer, he said, you have no adhikar to recite this prayer. He said, you're living very nicely without Radharani. How can you say, I can't, this prayer says, I can't live without you, Radharani. You're living so nicely, sleeping 6-8 hours a day, eating 3 times a day. How you're not living without Radharani? It's a joke, you're a farce, you're a cheater. This is Das Goswami, you can't imitate Das Goswami. You pray for a lifetime when you can have a drop of that idea, but now you're far from that. Mr. Jai Gurudev. He's right. I cannot live without it. Tavevasmi, say 3 times, I can't live without it. I can live without you, I'm living without her. I've been living 56 years without her, I'll still live without her. Because there's no real attachment, no real connection, no real loving separation from Radharani. But so that's what Nathdas is saying. If you want to get the mercy of Radharani, you have to become, Radharani says, first become mine. But now that you belong to your wife, your husband, or whoever, this, that, the other thing, first surrender yourself to me and stick to me like a shadow. Then you will get my response. So Raghunatha Das is overwhelmed while he's crying and reveals his heartache in these verses. Oh Swami, I don't have anyone else in this world but you. With whom should I stay? I cannot carry the burden of my life anymore without seeing you and serving you. That's amazing. And he ends a poem by saying, Kapi Dasi, I am your fallen maidservant. This is a Manjari Bhav. The mood of the maidservants, means Manjari Bhav, is identical with Radharani's mood. Just as Radhika is a personification of Mahabhav, so are maidservants are personification of Seva Ras. Manjaris are made of Seva Ras, the taste of service. Service is bliss, we always say. That's what we say. Service, Christian service is blissful. Their sarup, their primary intrinsic condition, is they're made of this rasa of seva. No one understands Radha and Krishna's wishes and desires as well as the manjaris. That's why manjaris suffer so much when they're deprived of service. No one else is as qualified to understand what Swamini's innermost feelings are but the manjaris. Even Radharani Sakhi Salita Vishaka, they can't understand her heart. So this is a Leela. Now we have a Leela which shows the intimacy of the Manjaris Seva to Radharani. Little Leela here. One day Swamini Radharani is angry with Shyam, and Shyam comes to her kunja dressed as a girl, disguised as a girl, trying to appease Radharani. But Swamini gives a hint to Tulsi Manjari to kick Krishna out of the kunj. This is a very common phrase. Kick him out of the kunj. K-N-K, kick out of the kunj. Kicked out of the house. The wife kicks us out of the house. And what does Radharani say? Rupa Goswami describes what Radharani said at that time in Utkalikavali, verse 59. I will not look at this cheater anymore. I will keep the wealth of my honor. Subal's friend has entered my kunja disguised as a girl. Stop him! Roko, Baba. Oh, Radhe, when can I, after hearing these anxious words of yours, stop that best of cowards from entering the kunj? Tulsi Manjari tells Krishna, oh, you rogue! There's no demons here that you can delude with this enchanting dress like Mohini. We are Radharani's kinkaries. We can understand all your tricks. Realize your own deceit. Listen, get out of here. Get out of this kunj. Ingate Bujiva Sabakaj, Narottam Das says, I will understand everything I have to do, all my sevas, simply by a hint from Radha and Krishna. Even Krishna can't understand Radhika's innermost feelings. That's exactly why he became Gora Sundar. Even Krishna cannot understand Radhika's innermost feelings. That's true everywhere. Men can never understand what women are thinking, what they're feeling. It's always been a historical dilemma. Husbands can never understand the feelings of the wife. The wife always complains, you don't understand me! You don't understand me, you bum! Well, that's right, I'm a man, you're a woman, I can never understand you, so what do we do now? We just live in misunderstanding. That's what life is about. You just carry on. You want to live with somebody, so you live. It's going to be that way wherever you go. So you're the best. You're the best of the worst. So let's live together in misunderstanding and understand that there's no success in this marriage life. Only success is serving Radha and Krishna. So we serve Radha and Krishna together. What's going on up there? Well, the noise. Guys they say the guys, Devi guys are bowling. Davises are bowling. So they say when we were a kid. They're boom, boom, boom. The bowling pins are going boom, boom. Somebody sets them up and they throw a boom. Boom, 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 boom. It's rained for like 6 days here. It's unbelievable. Crazy. How do the Manjaris understand Radharani? This is the next one. What time is it?
About 2 minutes. In 2
Huh?
minutes.
3:58. 2 to 4.
2 more minutes. Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Okay, how do the Manjaris understand Radharani? The kinkaris means Manjaris, means servants. They understand everything naturally. They can understand what Radharani needs during her particular pastimes with Krishna. They know what pastimes will be played, so they go ahead of Radha and Krishna and decorate the kunj accordingly before they get there. It's called an advance party. They make a bed for only one person to lie on, with one pillow. That's interesting. course, it means one pillow for Radharani, not for Krishna. He's going to get thrown on the floor, I guess. I don't know. They make a bed of one pillow because they know by experience what pastime will be performed there. So now you have to figure out your meditation. The Sekis know that the Kinkaris have entrance into intimate pastimes, so they engage them accordingly. Receiving an order from Alita, I will blissfully go do my service along with my dearest Manjari friends. The mood of the maidservants, the Gopi Bhav, is identical with Mahabhav. Radharani consists of Mahabhav. She is a Mahabhav Chintamani that fulfills all Krishna's desires. Say Mahabhav hoy Chintamani sar, Krishna mantra purna kori a kaya jar. This Mahabhav of Radharani is a quintessence of the love of Bhagavan. And it serves to fulfill all Krishna's desires. The maid servants are like this. They're Chintamani gems that fulfill the desires of Radha and Krishna. Therefore, Krishna pitifully prays to the Manjaris to get mercy of Radharani. That's so amazing. Little 12-year-old girl, Bhagavan, has folded hands and please, Manjari, please be kind to me. Please arrange for me, make Radharani meet me again. Maybe, I don't know. What will you give me? Oh, I'll give you some Mahaprasad or whatever. Okay, it's the deal. So, this relationship of Radha and Krishna, this next point, will start tomorrow. Jai Jai Sri Radhe.
Babaji Maharaj.